So I'm going to come down here and just highlight the action, and I'll copy that. And a shortcut to get from your .h file to your .m file is to hold down the Option and Command key and then hit the up arrow. So now I'm in my implementation file. If I want to go back to the header file, I do the same thing. Command Option, up arrow. So I go back over here to the M file. I'm going to go right under Synthesize Window, and I'm going to paste that in. Put in some braces. So what do we want to happen when our button's clicked? Well, we want it to get the text that's out of the two text fields and insert those into some strings inside of our code here so we can work with them. So let's do that first. We're going to do that by creating a string, and I'll just call this one string 1. And our first NSText field is text field 1. And NSText field has a method called string value. And that will return whatever the value is inside of that text field as a string. And that makes sense, that's what it says, right? And we'll do the same thing for string 2. Okay, so now we have a string inside of string 1 that's going to be the value of the string that's inside of text field 1, and the same thing for string 2 variable for text field 2. Now we need to check and compare the two to see if they're the same. And for this, we're going to use an if construct. So we'll type if, and now we're going to take string 1, and we're going to say is equal to string. And we're going to pass in string 2 as the parameter. And that's all we need to do for our statement. So that statement is going to return either true or false, yes or no. And then if it is true, our code will execute. If not, it won't execute. So if it is true, we want to say text field results. And instead of getting the string value, we're going to want to set the string value. And we do that with set string value. And we're just going to give it a constant string of strings are equal. So that is an if construct. Now let's say they're not the same. What do we want to do then? We don't want to just leave that text field empty. Let's go ahead and add an else statement. So we'll type else. I'm just going to come up here and copy all of that and paste it over that. And here we'll say strings are not equal. So let's just go over this real quick and make sure we know what's going to happen. When we click the button, it's going to take the string out of text field 1 and put it into the variable string 1. Then it's going to take the string out of text field 2 and put it into string 2. Then we're going to come down and we're going to check and see, is string 1, is that equal to the string 2? If they are equal, we're going to set the value of our text field results to strings are equal. And I'll go ahead and add an S there. So we're going to set the value to strings are equal. If they're not equal, we'll set the value to strings are not equal. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. All right, here we go. Our application has launched. So now we can type in, let's just say hello. And I'll type it in again. And I'll click the button. And it says strings are equal. So let's type in goodbye and see what happens. Now it says strings are not equal. So here we've created a small application with just a little bit of code. We hooked everything up in Interface Builder. And I find this much more enjoyable to learn how to write code and actually build an application at the same time. So in our next video, we're going to take this a little further. And not only are we going to use the if-else statement, but we're going to use the if-else-if-else statement.